Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we are diving into the financials of Tata Technologies Limited. They are a global player in product engineering and digital services, with a strong focus on the automotive, aerospace, and industrial heavy machinery sectors. Part of the Tata Group, so always interesting to track.
Absolutely. They position themselves as a strategic partner for companies looking to engineer better products. Think electric vehicles, software-defined vehicles, digital transformation, that's their playground. They recently had their IPO listed under the symbols TATATECH on NSE and 544028 on BSE.
Right, and we've got their audited financial results here for the fourth quarter and the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025. This covers both their consolidated and standalone performance, approved by the board on April 25th, 2025. So let's start with the big picture, the consolidated view. How did they do in Q4 and the full year?
Okay, looking at the consolidated numbers for the fourth quarter of FY25. Revenue from operations came in at 1,285.7 crore rupees. That's actually down slightly, about 1.2% year-over-year compared to Q4 FY24 and down 2.4% quarter-over-quarter from Q3 FY25.
Revenue dipped a bit. What about the profits?
That's where it gets interesting. Consolidated profit after tax, or PAT, for Q4 FY25 was 188.9 crore rupees. Now this is up significantly, 20.2% year-over-year and 12% quarter-over-quarter. So lower revenue but higher profit in the quarter. Operating EBITDA was 233.4 crore rupees, down 2.7% year-over-year but actually flat, slightly down 0.3% quarter-over-quarter.
Interesting. Lower revenue, flat EBITDA QOQ, but a jump in PAT. What drove that Q4 PAT surge? Was it lower taxes or higher other income?
Good question. Profit before tax or PBT for Q4 was 258.1 crore rupees, up a strong 11.9% year-over-year and 14.1% quarter-over-quarter. Tax expenses were actually slightly lower in Q4 compared to Q4 last year, which helped the PAT. Other income in Q4 was 57.1 crore rupees, which is higher than the previous year's Q4 but lower than the PBT jump suggests. It's the sole driver. So it seems like a combination of better pre-tax performance and possibly favorable tax comparison contributed to that strong Q4 PAT growth.
Okay, that makes sense for the quarter. How does the full financial year FY25 look on a consolidated basis compared to FY24?
For the full year FY25, consolidated results were quite flat. Revenue from operations was 5,168.5 crore rupees, up just 1% year-over-year. Operating EBITDA was 934.1 crore rupees, down slightly by 0.8% year-over-year. PBT was 921.4 crore rupees, down 1.1%. And profit after tax was 677 crore rupees, almost flat, down 0.4% year-over-year.
So, a very flat year overall on the consolidated top and bottom lines. What about the earnings per share?
Reflecting the flat PAT, the diluted EPS for FY25 was 16.66 rupees compared to 16.72 rupees in FY24. So pretty much unchanged year-over-year.
Got it. Now, you mentioned standalone results are also available. How did the parent company perform on its own in FY25? Sometimes that tells a different story.
It certainly does here. On a standalone basis, Tata Technologies Limited reported much stronger growth year-over-year for FY25. Revenue from operations was 3,024.5 crore rupees, up nearly 11% year-over-year. Profit before tax was 1,010.2 crore rupees, up over 23%. And profit after tax jumped significantly to 849.1 crore rupees, up almost 24% year-over-year.
Wow, that's a big difference compared to the flat consolidated picture. What's driving that huge PAT jump in the standalone entity?
The key factor is other income in the standalone results. For FY25, standalone other income was 485.5 crore rupees. A large chunk of this, specifically 390.01 crore rupees, was dividend income received from its subsidiary companies. This dividend income significantly boosts the standalone PBT and PAT, making the standalone growth look much higher than the consolidated operational growth.
The intercompany dividends effect. That explains the divergence. Okay, let's talk profitability margins then, focusing on the consolidated view which reflects the overall operations.
Right. The consolidated operating EBITDA margin for FY25 was 18.1%, slightly down from 18.4% in FY24, but still quite healthy and meeting their goal of exceeding 18% for the fourth consecutive year. For Q4 FY25, the EBITDA margin was 18.2%, up 40 basis points from 17.8% in Q3, but slightly down from 18.4% in Q4 last year. The consolidated net profit margin for Q4 FY25 improved nicely to 14.7% from 12.8% in Q3. For the full year FY25, the net margin was 13.1%, pretty much the same as 13.3% in FY24.
Stable and healthy margins then. Were there any exceptional items impacting these results, consolidated or standalone?
No, the reports don't indicate any significant exceptional items for FY25. This suggests the profits we're seeing are largely from regular business operations, aside from that notable other income component related to the BMW TechWorks agreement we should touch on later.
Any quick insights from the balance sheet? Debt levels, cash, key assets.
The detailed balance sheets are there, but pulling key highlights from the presentation and results. On a consolidated basis, the company ended FY25 with a stronger cash position. Cash and cash equivalents stood at $174.7 million, up from $146.3 million at the end of FY24. Headcount was slightly down at 12,644 employees compared to 12,688 a year ago. Voluntary attrition LTM improved to 13.2% from 14.5% year-over-year.
Good to see the cash position strengthening and attrition improving. What about cash flows and dividends?
Consolidated cash flow from operations saw a very strong improvement in FY25. It came in at 699.3 crore rupees, a big jump from 294.3 crore rupees in FY24. Net cash used in investing activities was 88.5 crore rupees, indicating more investment compared to the previous year. On the shareholder return front, the board has recommended a final dividend of 8.35 rupees per share, plus a special dividend of 3.35 rupees per share for FY25. That totals 11.70 rupees per share, subject to shareholder approval, leading to a cash outflow of around 474.6 crore rupees.
A solid dividend payout. Now Tata Technologies operates in distinct segments, services and technology solutions. How did these perform individually within the consolidated results?
Right, services is the bigger engine here. For FY25, services revenue grew slightly by 1.1% year-over-year to 4,027.4 crore rupees. Technology solutions revenue was also slightly up by 0.6% to 1,141.1 crore rupees. In terms of profit contribution before tax and finance costs, services brought in 1,303.9 crore rupees in FY25, while technology solutions contributed 208 crore rupees.
So services is the main profit driver? Any notable shifts within the services segment itself or in Q4 performance?
In Q4 FY25, services revenue showed a small 1.1% quarter-over-quarter increase, but technology solutions revenue dropped quite sharply, down 14.1% quarter-over-quarter and 14.5% year-over-year. This likely contributed to the overall revenue dip in Q4. Looking at the mix within services for FY25, 84% came from automotive clients, which is slightly down from 87% in FY24, indicating some diversification. The offshore-onshore mix shifted slightly towards onshore, which was 42% in FY25 versus 38% in FY24.
Okay, so summing up the performance, consolidated view is flat YoY for FY25, but Q4 showed a nice PAT jump despite lower revenue. Standalone performance looks much stronger YoY, but that's heavily influenced by intercompany dividends. Services segment is holding steady, while technology solutions looked weak in Q4.
That's a fair summary. The management commentary highlights a demanding environment but points to strong deal wins. 17 large deals in FY25, including one over $500 million and two over $50 million. They seem optimistic about the medium to long term, especially in automotive R&D, driven by electric, autonomous, and software-defined vehicle trends. The Q4 PAT jump likely reflects some operational efficiencies or margin improvements kicking in, possibly in the services segment, alongside favorable tax comparisons.
Are there any significant notes or events we should be aware of from the reports? You mentioned the BMW TechWorks agreement earlier.
Yes, there's a specific accounting treatment mentioned in both consolidated and standalone notes. Tata Technologies has a call-put option agreement with BMW Holding BV regarding their stake in the associate company BMW TechWorks India Private Limited or BTIPL. Due to this agreement, they recognize a fair value gain on the option systematically over a defined period. This contributed 16.62 crore rupees to other income in FY25, 8.31 crore rupees in Q4. So this non-operational item gives a small boost to the reported other income and profits. Also, the report highlights key strategic wins like collaborations with Tier 1 auto suppliers, Asian OEMs, setting up ODCs, and partnerships in the education sector.
Got it. Now the crucial part, the auditor's report. Any red flags, qualifications, or emphasis of matter from the auditors, BSR and Company, LLP?
This is a key positive difference here. For Tata Technologies, BSR and Company, LLP issued unmodified opinions on both the consolidated and standalone financial results for the year ended March 31, 2025. This means the auditors found the financial statements give a true and fair view in accordance with Indian accounting standards. The consolidated report does mention reliance on the work of other auditors for 2 subsidiaries and the associate BTIPL, and notes one foreign subsidiary was audited under different standards with conversion adjustments audited by BSR. These are fairly standard points for multinational consolidations. Crucially, there are no qualifications, adverse opinions, or emphasis of matter paragraphs highlighted in the reports provided.
That's a very important positive point. Clean audit opinions across the board. So what's the overall outlook and potential risks?
Disclaimer, as always, we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions. The outlook seems cautiously optimistic. Management commentary is positive, citing strong deal momentum and long-term industry trends in their favor: EV, SDV, AI. The stable margins, strong cash flow generation in FY25, the proposed dividend and clean auditor reports are all positive indicators. However, risks remain. The company is heavily reliant on the automotive sector, making it vulnerable to cyclical downturns or shifts in client R&D spending. The Q4 dip in technology solutions revenue needs monitoring. Competition is always intense in the ER&D services space. Execution on the large deals won will be key to future growth.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Tata Technologies presented a flat FY25 on the consolidated front, but Q4 ended strongly with a PAT surge despite lower revenues. Standalone results were boosted significantly by subsidiary dividends. Margins remained healthy, cash flow from operations improved dramatically, and a good dividend has been proposed. Importantly, the company received clean, unmodified audit opinions on both standalone and consolidated results.
Exactly. The services segment remains the stable core, while the technology solutions segment showed some weakness in Q4. The outlook hinges on continued strength in automotive and aerospace ER&D spending and the company's ability to capitalize on its recent large deal wins. While the overall FY25 numbers were flat, the underlying indicators like deal wins, margins, cash flow, and the clean audit report provide a relatively solid foundation moving forward, assuming the macro environment supports client spending.
A detailed picture indeed. Thanks for breaking that down for us. That's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for tuning in.